Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today we will be continuing our series on coin collecting. Today we will be talking about mint errors. Now mint error is any type of coin that has damage from the minting process. You can see from these dimes, nickels, and pennies on screen. Another name for mint error is actually a misstrike. And all of today's information will be gathered from the official Red Book, a guide of the United States coins, the 76 2023 edition. Now this book is a must-have for any coin collector. This book has been in print since 1947. It is updated every year. And I suggest buying a copy every couple of years. Most of the information in it doesn't change. And most of the information they have on coin pricing is outdated at the time of the release, because coin pricing is always changing. But enough of that, let's get right into it. So the book describes some of the more common types of mint errors. First, you have the clipped planket. Now this is where it's missing the coin is missing some of its metal, as you can see from this dime. Now, incomplete plankets result from accidents when the steel rods used to punch out the plankets on the metal strip overlap with a portion of the strip already punched. There are curved, straight, ragged, incomplete, and elliptical clips. Some other information. I'm reading all this from the Red Book, by the way. Next, we have double strikes. Now, this is a coin struck with at least one additional image being struck off-center like this. And the value increases with the number of strikes. These minting errors occur when a finished coin goes back through the press and is struck again with the same dies. And I want to clear up a double die error, which you've probably heard of, is actually, I believe, a type of multiple strike. That's what happens when you get a shadow. Not sure on that, but I believe that is correct though. And next we have the blank planket. It's a blank disc of metal intended for coinage, but not struck with dies. In the process of preparation for coinage, the blanks are first punched from a strip of metal and then milled to upset the rim. Most instances, the first process pieces are slightly more valuable than the finished blankets. Values shown are for the most common pieces. The book does have values for certain types of coin errors in it. So next we have the defective die. It's a coin showing raised metal from a large die crack or small rim break, as you can see from this dime. Coins that show evidence of light die cracks, polishing, or minor die damage are generally a little or no value. Prices shown here are for coins with more noticeable raised die crack lines, for which die break away, producing an unstruck area known as a cut. Next we have we got the off-center, which is a coin that's been struck out of collar and incorrectly centered. Part of the design missing, as you can see from this penny. Alright, so next we have the broad strike, and I would like to say the off-center is anything above 10%. That's considered off-center if this is 10% of the coin is missing. Anything less than 10% is considered a broad strike. I should clarify that. This is when a coin that was struck outside of the retaining collar. So next we have a lamination error. As you can see from these streaks here, that this is different than the die crack over here. This is a different machine. It's a flaw whereby a fragment of metal was peeled off the coin's surface during the lamination process. So next we have the brokerage, as you can see from this penny right here, is where a mirror of the design impressed on the opposite side of the same coin. And you can see that there's a mirror image here of the Lincoln Memorial. These errors are caused when a struck coin remains on either die after striking and impresses its image on the next blank blanket as it is struck, leaving a negative or minor image. Next we have the wrong planket. This is a coin that's struck on a planket intended for another denomination or of the wrong metal. I believe that this quarter is either, I believe it was struck on a dime blanket, it looks like. As you can see, since the dime is so small, you can fit all the image on there. That's how you can spot a wrong planket. And the final type of error that the book describes is the mint-cancelled coins, more commonly referred to in the numismatist world as waffled coins, is what they look like. This was started in the early 2000s. Instead of just sending coins to a foundry to be melted down and used again, they destroy the coins beforehand so they no longer retain any value. This is also a big reason why you won't find many mint errors in circulation these days. They're all being destroyed at the mint. And also the mint has changed its process in the early 2000s regarding coin distribution. It used to send coins to be counted and packaged at the banks themselves. But at the start of the 2000s, the mint was doing that themselves, sorting and packaging the coins there. And since they were before, these mint errors managed to get into circulation because they're packaged at the banks and at the mints. Nowadays, you can't really find many mint errors in circulation. Alright, well, that's it for the book. But even the book says that there are so many types of mint errors that can't put them all in here. But I'm going to go over a few other mint errors that I know of. Like, obviously, there's going to be some that, there's going to be a lot that I don't even know of. So the first one we have is the die cap. I don't really have much information on these coins. But die cap, I believe, is when when the die is pressed down too far, it forms a cap, as you can see on here. Next, we have the rotated, where the design on the mirror side is actually rotated slightly. Next, we have a recently discovered mint error known as the Black Beauties. Somewhere during the process where it's being coated, something went goes wrong, and the coins actually become a black color like this. Next, we have the struck through grease. This is where some grease got in front of the die and it actually messed up the design. So as you can see, there's part of this design that was never even added to the coin because the grease got in the way. There's also another one struck through fabric. Some fabric or something got stuck on here. Really messed up the design as well. There's lots of different types of struck throughs. These are just two that I know of. And next we have the Holy Grail of mint errors. This is the Double Dominion Mule mint error. It is the rarest and the most valuable of mint errors, I believe. It is where a coin is struck with two denominations. See, this coin has the face of a quarter, the obverse of a gold dollar. There's only one of two that I know of. The other one that I know of has the face of a gold dollar and the backside and the obverse of South Carolina State Quarter, I believe. It was in a recent edition of the Numismatist. That's where I learned about these. But it's widely believed that these mint errors are purposely made by mint employees to try to make a quick buck or something. But I thought I'd include them in this list as well, because they're pretty cool looking, I think. Alright, so I'm going to be going over a few mint errors that you can probably find in circulation right now. Before I do that, I will want to go over one more type of mint error, the shift die error, which is actually not considered a true error. It does not add anything to the coin's value. So don't get all excited if you ever find one. So first off, we have this double-dyed penny. Now, I know there's a lot of double-dyed pennies in circulation. Pennies, I believe, have the most amount of errors because they're just so many. They have such a high population. If we look closely, you can see a shadow along Lincoln and the Memorial. That's what double die is. Next, we have the Minnesota Extra Tree Quarter. Now, somewhere, I believe right here, there's an extra tree. It's a small tree, but it's still not meant to be there. Then we have the Kansas State Quarter Rust Quarter, where instead of saying "In God We Trust" like up here, it says "In God We Rust." For some reason that T, I got rid of T on there by accident. So next we have going with Wisconsin State Quarters, which actually have two different distinct mint errors. You have the high leaf error, which is an extra corn leaf or stalk leaf right here. And the low leaf, which has an extra leaf here. I actually do have a low leaf error in my own personal collection. Well, guess that's it for those. There are lots of other types of mint errors that you can find in circulation. You just gotta get lucky because there's a lot of numismatists out there searching for mint errors. So you really have to get lucky with looking. But that is all for today's video. If you like what you see, please like this video and subscribe. And hit that bell icon if you want to see more videos on coin collecting. Next week I will be going over large cents, their complete history up from, I want to say, 1776 they were first minted? Or was it I think it was 1776 they were first minted, all the way to 1855, I believe was the last year they were minted. But I'll be going over the history of large cents in next week's video. So, bye.